Hey everyone, welcome back to Rhythm Railroad. So this is part 5 of my grain facility scene, which is now turning into my grain facility slash metalworks scene because it all kind of connects. And what I've been doing lately is working on this end of the scene where all the grade crossings are to get past the industry. So as you saw in the last video, I decided to go straight up with the or straight through with the road. But then the dilemma was that I was going right into a wall there, and it's always a little tricky figuring out how to make a road seem like it continues when you have just backdrop there, because you either have to get a photo backdrop that matches perfectly with the angles and the shade and the what's around the scene with the rest of the background, or you have to draw something in or paint something in that's typically not easy to do. And I'm certainly not good enough to do that convincingly. So I just put it out there in part 4, and my buddy William, who has been with me basically since the beginning of this entire layout build, chimed in, and he recommended something that actually worked out perfectly. It's not 100% what he recommended, but it is basically the same concept. So thanks for that, William. I really appreciate it. I guess that's what's great about this hobby and the YouTube, that we can share ideas and we can help each other out. So thanks again for that, William. So here's what I ended up doing. So he recommended making a right turn here, a sharp right, and kind of making it look like it disappears behind the wall back there, or is parallel to this track here. So two things that I'm thinking. I can just leave it the way it is right now, which basically what I did is I created a seam block with the tree line, right? And originally I tried what William suggested, which was put trees behind and trees in front of the seam to create almost like a canopy, and the trees come together and then creates almost like a shell. But I that looked a little forced when I tried it. So what I did instead is this, which is I just created a very high tree line that's very dense, that continues through past this kind of like 45-degree angle here on the wall. And then I'm going to continue it through here. And the way, I don't know, at least to me, the way the wall is shaped and all that stuff, and the way the trackage kind of bends through there, to me it seems like the road would naturally bend around. Like my imagination and what I'm seeing tells my brain that, oh, that road must bend around that building back there. And so that's why I added that building back there, because it tricks the eye into thinking that the road continues this way and then kind of makes a turn to go past the building. And by adding these little jersey what are they called? They're jersey barriers. It definitely helps to give that sense of like separation there. Also, these building flats, I think is what they're called. They're like just images that you can get on eBay. I forget who makes them, but they're great. I used them on my N-scale layout and they were very convincing. And I especially like this building because of the fence line. That fence line not only looks awesome and realistic, but also it tricks the mind into thinking that there's space between the fence and the building, therefore giving you that sense of distance, right? It looks like the building is actually pushed back further than it really is. And just by adding a little greenery or a little bush here and there in front of it also creates more depth, because now it's, your eye sees the foliage there, and then it sees the fence, and then it sees the grass, and then it sees the building. So that's like 4 layers of depth right there, which I think is really, really nice when you're talking about creating that sense of depth. So so this is going to be the first option. The second option is to bring the tree line up even a little bit higher so that it's like up here, and then continuing the road on this side. So I would have the trees kind of continue here nice and high, right? And then have the road reappear here. which then gives that sense of continuation. It looks like the road came through, right, went behind the trees and then popped up again over here. So that's an interesting little concept there. I just don't know what's going to happen once I get here. So that's why I'm debating whether I should just leave it like that and then just fill all this with trees and maybe a building or something there. Or if I should make it look like that continuing road. So you guys, if you can help me out with that, let me know what you think would work better. That would be cool. And so, now all I got to do is basically paint the road and make it look like it's one piece instead of, all these different sections. Or what I might do is create a different shade of gray or maybe even like an asphalt type road there. So, because you see that a lot also in the industrial roads as they fix the road and repair damage and stuff like that. Sometimes they, color changes from section to section. Not to mention the grade crossing. I'm probably going to do that with the, that black type look that I've been doing around the layout. So yeah, that's basically all I have to show here. But it took a while for me to kind of play around with all this stuff and figure it out. And obviously the trees are just those super trees that are just bare right now. I haven't painted them. I haven't added any foliage or anything like that. Although it looks pretty good, I must say. It doesn't look that bad. But obviously when you make it when you dress them a little bit, they look much better. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna go with. I mean, you can take some nice pictures right there, right? All that's gonna look pretty good once you start, shooting some close-ups and in both angles. So, the other thing I added was this it's from the same company, this other image of the building and one back there too. And I did it like this because it says scrap metal on it. And I figure maybe there's a scrap metal, like an old scrap metal company behind the steel coil, metal thing, right? It's all kind of related. And the darker building behind it, I don't know what it says on there. But it looks like, it was a building that was taken over by the company at some point and then it abandoned. But it's darker. And that also helps with creating distance when the image is darker. So it almost looks like this building is a little bit closer than that one. And so, that's why I did that. Obviously, this is all temporary, but I kind of like it. I kind of like the way it flows. You got this brick building in the front here. Then it's like this corrugated metal kind of building next to it. I'll obviously put some kind of seam block there, like another tree or a tower or some kind or something to block it, or even a real structure, maybe a small structure there, like a little, I don't know, whatever. But just to make sure it looks less flat, less two-dimensional. And then obviously it kind of like all blends into the building here. So I'll probably add like a dirt road here or some kind of like gravel road or something like that, grayish kind of gravel. So it doesn't look like it's all pavement, it's all road. And again, just to change it up a little bit. But yeah, I have no idea. I'm still kind of playing with this area here. So, but at least I know where the building needs to go and where the tracks are going to sit. So that'll be a little bit later. But for now, like I said, this is what I'm looking at. And this is what I'm trying to just blend into the scene. Along with the stuff in front of it. I think I'm just going to do a hill here. Maybe water, maybe a little sliver of water here. Just to give it that image of like, that kind of like upward kind of flow. But that's it. I know these videos are short, but I kind of like that it shows more progress in a shorter amount of times. So I'll see you in part 6. Thanks.